This is the plaintiff, Frank Mello. He says he made a deal with the defendant to paint his car and in exchange gave him a vintage 1972 Chevy Nova in trade. Since they made the deal, he's got nothing but a royal runaround. His car still hasn't been repainted, and he has no other choice but to sue him here and now for the cost of the paint job, which is $887.88. This is the defendant, Arthur Platts. He says he never stated he'd paint the plaintiff's car. They never even discussed painting his car. He has no idea why the guy's turning around and suing him today. Knows he did nothing wrong and thinks the judge will agree. He's accused of painting a guy into a corner.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Frank Mello?
Yes,
you are suing Arthur Platts for $887.88 that you say it's going to cost you to paint a car that he had promised to paint in return for a 72 Nova. Okay, tell me what happened here.
Well, Your Honor, I was riding with friends of mine, and I saw a 1987 black Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme for sale, which I wound up purchasing through...
From him?
Well, he was a selling agent for his next-door neighbor. When I went to his house to pay him for that vehicle, my friend that was with me had told him that I had a couple of collector cars. He said that he had one also, okay? What happened was, in the process...
What was the vehicle that you bought? A what?
A 1987 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
Okay.
It was basically, in pretty good shape. The hood, roof, and trunk, the paint was cracked, very, very microfine cracks, which requires...
Okay, so you bought that car, and
Yes.
then the two of you got to talking about car collecting.
Yes, and then what happened, Your Honor, at his house, I found out that he also has a very, very beautiful 1970 Chevrolet Nova, and at which point, when I found out he had that, I said, oh, I have a 1972 Nova at home, and when I said that, he expressed extreme interest, because it is a mess, okay, but it's worth a lot in parts value.
Okay, so then what happens? He expresses great interest, and what happens?
Great interest. He said, would you be interested in selling this vehicle? He called me a couple times, and I said, well, look, it's been in the family for years. How
many years had it been in the family?
Actually, 20.
So 20 years, and then what happened? So
yes. What happened was...
It hadn't been drivable in how long?
No, it was actually drivable. If I, put air in the tires, it did run. It actually did run.
How long had it been since you had driven it?
Oh, I'd say about a year and a half.
Okay. So anyway, go on.
What happened was he asked me if he could come up and see it, and I said yes. The day that he came up to see it, he came up with a friend with a flatbed truck.
If it was running, why did he need a flatbed truck?
To put it on, no, it wasn't running at that time. It was just sitting beside the garage, basically sinking into the mud, okay? Then he said, well, what did you decide? And I said, I really haven't decided. And then he said to me, well, I planned on leaving here with this car today. So I said, well, you know what? Take it, okay? And then he said,
You didn't give him a price?
No, because I was totally unexpected, Your Honor. I didn't
So your price was zero?
No, what happened, Your Honor? No, this is what happened. It was like a trade agreement, okay? So he said, well, how about this? You do the body work on the hood, roof, and trunk, reprime it, repaint it, the whole thing, in trade for the Nova. And he said, that sounds fair.
Did you put this in writing?
No, because I didn't expect that to happen. What happened that day just caught me totally off guard.
Yeah, I know, but you were telling him, go ahead and take the Nova, and in return, you got to paint the car. What's the off guard? Grab the nearest pencil, the nearest piece of toilet paper, and write the agreement down. And it's 4 sentences. You don't need a lawyer or anything. You just need to write down and memorialize what you're doing. Because watch this. Did you agree to paint the car?
No.
Okay, see what happens when you don't have it in writing like that? This is the kind of pickle you find yourself in. Mm-hmm. He ends up taking the Nova, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and what is your version of this? That he gave you the Nova because you're so cute?
Can I...
In return for nothing? Like what? What was the discussion?
There was no discussion, Your Honor. I left a 1987 Oldsmobile Cutlass at a friend of mine's service station with a for sale sign on. After he purchased the car for less than the price that the girl was asking for the car, then first thing he said to me was, after the next day, before we talked about 1972 Nova, was this. You know, Artie, the car's got a lot of scratches on it. I looked at it today. I said, Frank, you looked at it yesterday also. Had the same scratches yesterday as it has today. Make a long story short, we get past that, and I said, Frank, by the way, why don't you stop in my garage and take a look at the car I got inside my garage? I have a restored car, show car. So he liked it, He goes, you're never going to believe this. I have a 1972 Nova. Frank told me, would you like to see the car? I said, absolutely. What do you plan on doing with it? He goes, nothing right now. He goes, it's in pretty good shape. And that's as far as the conversation went until I went to look at the car.
But you went to look at the car with a flatbed.
I'm in the business.
Okay, but you sort of sound like a guy who meant business and really wanted it, that it had some value to you. Otherwise, why would you go there in the flat? Did you just drive the flatbed everywhere to the dollar store, to wherever you're going, you drive the flatbed? Or no?
No,
just when you
no,
plan
but
to take
when
a car
I'm doing
with
an automotive transaction, I do drive a flatbed because that's my business. And there are possibilities when somebody might be getting rid of a car, which would cost them money to unload out of the thickness of the mud of his backyard with 4 flat tires and a possum family growing in the interior.
So it's sort of a negotiating tool that you can,
It's
I
not
can
a
take this thing off your hands right now.
No, it's my business.
That would work
It's
for
my
me.
well,
if
it's
you
not.
said, right now, get this thing right out of your yard right now, I'd be like,
Are barter deals a good idea?
I think it's a bad idea.
Why?
Because you'd rather pay for it in cash and you don't, the services.
It's just kind of loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't agree with it.
You don't like them?
I don't like it.
Final word?
No, bad idea.
I can't get anything out of these people today, going inside the guardroom.
all right, so you get there and what happens?
Car was unseen from the house. It was buried behind the garage. That's how bad it looked.
Okay, but you took it. Why?
Because he offered it to me.
Okay, but why would, obviously it wasn't so bad that it had no value. You wanted it.
I wanted the seatbelts out of the car. My seatbelts weren't in my car, and to be totally legal, I wanted to put seatbelts in my car. His car happened to have one good item on it, and that was the seatbelt. That was it.
Okay. So what are the negotiations between the two of you? According to him, you took it in return for a paint
He
job.
goes, Artie, I gave you the car as the car was mounted on the carrier. He
No,
said,
before you mount the car in the carrier, what are the
no,
discussions?
no, this was after the car was
No,
mounted
I'm
on.
asking you a
Nothing.
different question
Take
than
the
what you
car.
want.
Do you want it? Take it.
That's
Can
it.
we talk?
There's not an exchange for anything else. It's
No.
take it.
Can we talk about the Oldsmobile? I said, what would you like to talk about? He says, a paint job. I says, anywhere from 15 to 5,000. I don't do paint jobs for free. This is my livelihood. I've been doing it for 35 years in a row.
So your answer is that the discussions you had about what he would get in return for the Nova are nothing. You were just taking it off his hands.
To be honest with you, I think he's looking for a free paint job, and I
free paint
wasn't
job
about to
on
do
that.
it. Yeah.
Okay. What is the day that you take the Nova?
It was a Saturday.
No.
I
Sorry,
don't
it's my fault.
remember,
The
Your
date.
Honor. It was what,
Do you remember the date
2
that you
years?
took
It
the
was
Nova?
two
Yes, Your
years
Honor,
ago.
It was December 1st, Your Honor, of 2008.
Okay. In your complaint, you say, so it is spring of 2009 now. I registered
Yes.
this car in March. I called him about the paint job. He said he'd be busy for a few months. When I asked him about getting the paint job done again, and I don't know when that is, he told me it would be about $200. I just didn't respond to that. Why would you not respond to that if it's supposed to be something that he is supposed to do for you for free in return for getting the Nova? Not free, but in return for the Nova. Why would it not bother you that you have to pay $200?
Well, because, I mean, I was getting a good deal on him painting the vehicle, actually.
What was the good deal
Okay?
you were getting?
Well, like he said, it goes from $1,500 to $5,000, but the part that needed to be done on the Oldsmobile was just the hood, roof, and trunk. And I went to other places, got estimates for like $1,500. Actually, I went to his brother. He said, Artie doesn't work here anymore. I fired him. Kind of mumbled had his head down, kind of mumbled under his breath. He says, I can't believe my own brother's stealing from me. And that's what he said.
Do you want to respond to that?
I'm not here for that.
Okay, that's
And
fine.
I think that was totally rude of him even bringing that up. Okay? Because what he does is he's a tire kicker. He likes to go around and beat people up. He's got 3 restored cars at his house that he told me how he got them. One was an old man that he raped in Long Island for the Grand National. The other one was
I'm sorry, what did you
1970.
mean by that? You mean he took the car for a cheap
He took
price?
the car from an old man and totally didn't give him the total purchase price that Frank has nothing else to do during the day but go around and look for victims. And he tried to pull me as a victim, and I'm not going to be one.
Your Honor, may I say something?
Yep.
It's actually quite to the contrary. The old man wanted $15,000. He was an 80-year-old man.
Oh, no, I don't want to hear about the elderly
Okay.
gentleman. You know, I don't know who's snowing who in this whole thing. I think it's a little bit more nebulous than that. My main difficulty with you, okay, is that the guy tells you, I know I told you I'd do it for free, but now it's going to cost you $200, and you say nothing to it. That really bothers me, because that doesn't sound to me like a guy who really had a deal. Sounds to me like a guy who wanted to figure out, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, let's see what we can work out. I think that you wanted the car off your property, he's taking the car, and you were hoping that scratching his back, he would scratch yours later and give you a good deal. That's why when he says, it's $200 for the paint, or you say he says that, you're like, oh, I didn't say anything because it was a good deal. You know, this is not a contract. You can't then turn around when it goes bad and say, I didn't get what I wished for. So I find in favor, in this case, of the defendant, and I'm not going to order him to pay you that money.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
The judge rules that there really was no contract in this case, and therefore the plaintiff cannot come into court and ask for it to be enforced by the judge. Stand right over here next to me. And turn around, face this way. What's your reaction to that outcome?
Well, unfortunately, Mr. Platts lied. He wanted that car very badly to sell it for parts. There's a lot of money in parts.
Yeah, but
That
no
was
proof
the
that that
contract.
deal existed. All right, you just head right down this way, okay?
Thank you.
Sign your documents on the way out. All right, come on in here. So you satisfied that you finally come out on the winning end here?
Yeah, I feel very good about
You
this.
got a little man in there, it looked like, at some point.
I thought Mr. Mello was taking advantage of me the whole point of the time, and it all started out with me trying to do a good deed for a neighbor. And I got to say, one of my favorite programs back when I was a kid was Judge Wapner right there on the wall, and I knew this was the right place to get some, get the right thing done.
Well, hopefully Koch would have done the same thing Judge
Yeah.
Scheinlin and certainly Judge Milian did for you.
Okay.
All right, over to Harvey.
You know, barter was something that was used for many, many, many years and still is. It's not a bad idea in principle, but especially when you're dealing with items where it's not clear, they don't have an exact monetary value and it's not clear exactly what the nature of the service or the goods are, you have got to get barter deals in writing, no exceptions.